What up, Big Red Junkies? We're breaking down the special teams, what Coach Foley has been doing so far, what we expect to see out of our kicking and our return game this year.
45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. He's gonna go. Holy cow.
Big Red Junkies.
Day by day, he gets better and better. He gets better and better. Team is JPV. Oh, man, woman, and child, he just turned this stadium inside out.
What is Miles Farmer thinking? I know we're here to talk about special teams. Cheers, quick.
Let's goodbye to Miles Farmer, I guess.
Yes, goodbye to Miles Farmer. I don't understand it.
He doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to work for it. That's what it is.
That's the thing. He doesn't want to put in the work that's required. He doesn't want to be...
It's clearly obvious, right?
If you're a team that is looking at him in the transfer portal right now, how can you take him seriously?
No idea.
If you have any sort of expectations. Because it's really well documented what Matt Rule is expecting out of the guys.
Coach Rule comes in.
And going into this year.
It's not even that difficult. He said, this is what you need to do to be a part of the team. And he didn't want to do it.
And we don't know what those things are. It could be showing up to practice on time. It could be going to class correctly.
It might be extras.
Rule made the comment on Monday that it was a bunch of little things and that the ball was in his court.
Yeah.
Here's one of my biggest things. He is, and I mean, we've said this in our Wager show. Rule is setting the standard.
Not to be confused with our Jaeger show.
Our Jaeger show
Every show is our Jaeger show.
Our Wager show. Rule is setting the standard. It does not matter if you are a position coach. It does not matter if you are the second leading tackler returning as a
Major leader on defense.
A major leader on defense.
Wasn't he a captain last year too?
No.
Okay.
But you know what? It could be Jeff Sims.
But it also doesn't matter if you are a guy that was formerly recruited by Matt Rule at Baylor, who is one of the only guys that understands the system of what Matt Rule is wanting to build.
Absolutely.
Matt Rule is building a culture.
From top to bottom.
Well, you're referencing Fleeks.
Yes.
Who apparently showed up this week
overweight
on Monday, overweight.
Significantly, quote unquote, significantly
overweight.
Been there.
He packed on those...
I am there.
He packed on those. He packed on that COVID year sixth year senior 15, I guess.
Yeah, whatever.
If McDonald's could just quit bringing back the McRib, I'm telling you.
Would that be sixth year 60 or?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
And I hate to make fun of the guy, but at the same time, like you said, he was supposed to be coming in as a super senior leader who knows the rule system, kind of like an additional coach, because he's one of McGuire's boys. He literally played with him at Baylor's first season. And so you look at the fact that he straight up sent him packing. Not, hey, you're fat, we got to get you under control.
No.
There's an expectation for the way you show up to our fall camp.
Yep. I told you how to show up and you didn't do it. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And again,
go home.
You know me. I recruited you.
Yeah.
You played under me for a year.
This is not new news.
So again,
and you're telling me these coaches haven't developed themselves also?
It's from top to bottom. Matt Rule and this coaching staff is creating an absolute culture. We talked about this in the Wager thing. We don't know how this is what the scenario is going to be if you are a player that unfortunately has the same situation as Wager.
I don't need specifics. I love what I'm seeing.
With the way that he is handled, whether it's Wager, whether it's Farmer, as a, again, experienced returning player, productive player.
Should have been a big piece of the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Or a guy that literally knows the standards of Matt Rule.
Has known them for 6 years.
Top to bottom, these are the standards. If you don't want to follow them, again, just what Matt Rule said on Monday with Miles Farmer. We hope that he's here, but if he's not, the ball is in his court. We wish him nothing but the best. It's not malicious. We're not going to say fuck off and all those other
I
things.
love how it's not only we hope that he's here, but it's we hope that he's here and he's doing what we ask of him.
Yes. Rule bait literally said the ball is in his court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he took that ball, put it in his court, and he entered the transfer portal. I understand.
We've talked about this before too, though. Just because he went into the portal doesn't mean he's gonna be gone. He might go into the portal in 2 weeks from now. He might be saying, "You know what? I fucked up. I'm coming back. I'll do it your way."
You're right, but the way that stuff has laid out recently,
Maybe he won't be welcome back.
I doubt that he'll be welcome back. But
Look, I take Rule's word to heart. I honestly believe he wishes him the best, and I believe that if he comes back and he's like, you know what, I do want to work for this. I do want to be a part of this team. I don't see Rule having any animosity against him.
I don't. But at the same time, it's kind of like I was all prepared previous to me finding out that he was in the transfer portal to say
Bitch move, by the way. I'm just saying.
To say I agree, but to say okay, so he's suspended. He's not on the 120 for the training camp. We also heard this with Anthony Grant going into spring ball, and literally a week later he was practicing
he
and all those
decided
things.
to take the other road and fix his shit and get himself together.
As soon as I heard that Farmer was suspended, I was like, okay, whatever is whatever. It doesn't mean that this is severely long term. He literally could be back next week. We don't know. Then we find out what we found out and all those other things. And you know what? Again, kind of with the Wager thing. I'm not going to kick a man while he's down. If he wants to go, best of luck to you. As a player, I want him here. But if you're going to be a cancer, I want you gone. I don't know what else to tell you.
The only other thing I want to add to this, I actually heard this today from somebody that we don't typically like to listen to very much because I don't really like his opinions that much.
Did you want to name names?
Steve Sipple actually made this. Well, but he made a decent point on this.
Whatever, okay.
About the fact that we had a lot of slow guys on the back end of our defense that are slow by new Nebraska standards. And I say new Nebraska standards after I referenced yesterday, after listening to Tony White talk. He used the phrase Husker speed like 6 or 7 times in his press conference. Mm-hmm. And he kept talking about Husker speed.
In a good way. I haven't seen this press conference in a good way or a bad way.
In a very, we are an attacking defense, and we are going to use Husker speed. That's a new catchphrase he wants to take.
Give me goosebumps.
Yeah, he wants to run with that.
I wanted to watch that press conference.
I love this special team show so far.
No, I wanted to
talk to special teams on.
I wanted to watch it last night, but coming off here's the thing with not to get personal stuff, but the job that I have, when I come off of a week vacation and I come back into work,
you get out of shape, man. You need a condition.
Tired. I got back yesterday and I laid in my bed and I was like, I'm done. Like I was asleep. I couldn't, I every intention to watch the press conference yesterday with Tony White, Knighton.
Terrence Knighton, yeah.
Terrence Knighton. And the
His
players.
is good too.
I will watch it as the day goes on, but I was just like, I couldn't keep my eyes open to save my life. I really wanted to watch it. I really wanted to watch it, not just in a general sense, but specifically for the show. So I apologize that I didn't get a chance to watch it.
No, you're good. The only other thing that I was going to say about that was just the fact that we had a lot of slow guys in the back end of our defense. He was one of them who was on the slower end of things. And when you've got Tony White talking Husker speed, and he's making it a catchphrase, and everything about this new defense is attack, movement, interchanging, speed, being able to kill. He didn't fit that mold, and maybe some of this we don't know. I wonder if actually that's what I was going to say. I wonder if one of the local media guys would ask him in a press conference, ask Rule the next time he's up there, hey, what were those little things that were hurdles that he couldn't get past? And maybe he'll deflect and say, oh, that's all personal stuff. It's in the past. I'm not going to talk about it. Maybe he will identify it and say, hey, it was school stuff. It was whatever this and that might have been causing a problem.
I'd love to have the answers to that question, but I also get it if we don't get them.
No, yeah, I get it if we don't get them, but
I want to know what he's doing coaching the way he is, just because as I want to be as submerged as possible in this rule experience. But at the same time, I want to respect the players, and I want to understand that maybe it was one thing that he couldn't get past.
It's one of those two-sided things. Like, you look at that and you go, I mean, we talked about this in our Big Ten preview show, returning players. And Miles Farmer, returning player, second most tackles for a Nebraska program. But at the same time, he didn't even start the spring game. And he also didn't play safety, which he played most of last year.
What do they have him lined up at?
Defensive back, cornerback. Yeah. So it's
was
like...
he bigger?
No, it was just the position that they put him in. So it's one of those situations where it's like everything is right on the left side, but also everything is right on the right side.
Yeah.
But there's somewhere in the middle that Miles Farmer did not necessarily fit in, that he felt that he needed to go somewhere else. And I understand the transfer portal stuff. Now, granted, I don't understand the transfer portal stuff on August 2nd to enter the portal, because you need a waiver to play in.
He doesn't. He's a graduate senior.
No,
he's
already graduated.
Well,
that's what they said. That's what
he's
they
listed
said
as a sophomore.
Well, what I heard earlier today was he's actually graduated, so he classifies to transfer.
Now that's the other thing. It's the whole COVID stuff. You add the extra year.
He's a graduate transfer. Yeah, that's what he's going.
I mean, we've all seen the Mitch Sherman thing where there was 101 of the 137 something players are all either freshmen or sophomores. It's like, okay, that's a big number when you see 101 freshmen or sophomores, but you have to also understand that the majority of those sophomores are 4-year sophomores.
Yeah.
Because of redshirt and COVID years.
I don't want to be selfish, but it makes me really excited for the next couple of years.
Exactly. So that's why the whole COVID thing really fucks everything up as far as measuring where somebody is.
Oh, sure.
So that's why when I look at my computer screen and I see Miles Farmer as a sophomore, and you say he graduated and all those other things, I immediately think, well, that's not right.
Well, but then you
throw in all those other things, and it makes sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can enter college as a sophomore.
Yeah. So he either has to drop down a division, or it's a graduate situation, or he has to get a special waiver. The waiver situation, considering when he entered the transfer portal, is probably going to be very hard.
He's good to go. From what I saw today, he's ready to play immediately wherever he goes.
Transfer.
Okay. I literally listened to Mike Schaefer earlier today on 1620. He said he's either going to have to drop down to the FCS level or get a special waiver. So I don't know. I'm not trying to say somebody's right one way.
Yeah, who knows?
It's such a convoluted system. That
really subtracts from the point that he wasn't fitting in here.
Yeah,
obviously.
I don't really care.
And
like I said, I would love to have him still at Nebraska as a player, but if you're going to be a cancer in the locker room, I don't want you. So
I am all about the culture that Matt Rule is bringing.
Yes.
And I want it. So
I agree.
If you're telling me that any name is not bringing you what they should, get rid of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
And I've already heard people compare it to, he's not fitting in just like Xavier Betts didn't fit in last year. It's not the same thing.
No.
It's not the same
that's
thing.
Not even close.
Was Xavier Betts doing what he was needing to stay on the team last year? No, he wasn't. But was the culture that we were trying to solidify, was everything that the team was doing all moving in the same direction and making sense?
Also,
absolutely not.
The coaching staff last year clearly didn't give a shit about Xavier Betts as a person, and that's what Xavier Betts.
Shit about anybody as a person.
Well, you're not wrong there, but I'm specifically talking about Xavier Betts. Xavier Betts cares more about how you think of him as a person than him as a football player.
Yeah.
And if you're going to show him that, then he's going to give you that.
Reminds me of Jaylen Brown.
And Matt Rule is showing that he actually gives a flying fuck. That's not a Patriot reference. That's a Celtic reference.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's fine. Whatever. But
it's even worse when it's out of the sport and also a Boston reference.
Nobody's the same way. Jaylen Brown is very much cool. I need to be appreciated on the court and with my paycheck, but I also want you to see me as a human being and see the social issues that I'm standing up for and the different people that I'm trying to help and the community stuff. And that's Xavier Betts. He's really big about community, and he wants to be known as more than just a football player.
No, Xavier Betts does not want to be known as a football player. Not more as.
I honestly feel like Xavier Betts would have fit in very well in the new regime.
That's why he's here.
That's why he's back.
And that's what I'm saying. It's.
But I'm saying it's not. That's why it's not the same thing.
No,
it's definitely not the same thing. And I'm honestly, I want to move past the farmer thing because I'd like to forget about it.
I don't disagree with you.
I mean, at some point we should probably talk special teams, but
that's the purpose of this show. But yeah, it is.
That's the only real headline update that we've had in the last week. Other than
as far as for Nebraska goes, if you want to go big picture, we can go expansion stuff, but we don't need to do that.
There hasn't been any real news breaking, though.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Rule clearly has a system in place that he wants to work.
Well, and again,
and I want to let him work it.
My biggest thing with the rule decision that he has made as far as letting Farmer do what he wants to do is, again, from top to bottom, whether it's a coach, assistant coach, a returning starter that is a prominent returning starter, or if it's, I mean, granted, Josh Fleeks is supposed to contribute, but at the same time, he's a sixth-year guy that, whatever else, but he understands the rule culture, and he clearly did not give a flying fuck about the rule culture, and he's significantly overweight and all those other things. There is an absolute standard that rule is setting and that there are no exceptions for. Top to bottom, whether it's a walk-on, whether it's a stud guy, it does not matter who the fuck you are. We talked about this in the Wager conversation. We will unfortunately probably find out with a player in a drunk driving situation, is he going to kick him off completely? He is setting a standard right now.
Yeah.
Top to bottom. Every player, it does not matter who the fuck you are. We will find out.
That was an aggressive intro to special teams. Let's go ahead and get into special teams.
Sorry, those are just the news and notes that have been happening before we get into special teams.
News notes, we nailed it.
As far as actually talking special teams on this show, let's kick it off with a little.
Is that a thing?
A little kicking. I know that as far as place kicking goes, the kickoffs we're gonna be running with the same guy. I'm more excited to talk about what's going on with the little field goal kicker battle.
Is there really a battle?
It sounds like there is.
Okay.
We weren't bad at field goals last year, but we're definitely going to be better this year.
I don't know if we're going to see if it's going to be one guy or if like Alvano's going to be, hey, we know you got the monster leg. We're going to trot you out there for the 40-plus yarders.
But he's accurate too. That's my thing. I hate to see a senior guy losing it to a younger guy, but if he's got the better leg, give it to him.
My biggest thing is, I understand what you said. It wasn't terrible, at least atrocious. I guess they maybe would use that word last year, but it was literally first half, second half.
Comparing to what we had before, it was much better.
But even last year, we started out 1 of 4 to start the first half of the season. The first 6 games of the season, we were 1 and 4. And then after that, we were like 90%. The next 4 games, we were 100%. The last game, we were 50%. So it's not that we were terrible in the second half of the year. We were just not great in the first half of the year. I think it can get better. It helps that we have everybody likes to say that Tristan Alvano is a 5-star kicker, but I don't know.
They don't give 5 stars to kickers.
He's a good goddamn kicker.
Now, granted,
he was being courted by Alabama. That's all you got to know.
He's one of the best kickers in the country.
Yes.
I don't care what fucking stars you have.
He's the best kicker that we've had on our roster in the last at least decade.
Yeah.
Since probably Alex Henry.
And when you have the first day of practice, and I understand that it's indoors, I understand that there's nobody rushing the kicker. I understand all of those secure environments and all those other things. If you're an 18/19-year-old kid, just
casually dropping 50-yarders.
Just not even like you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
50-yarders.
Like, another day at the office.
And I'm sorry, but he dropped 3 in that championship game.
You're right. I'm just saying you have the college uniform on. I agree with you, Matt.
Yes, there's bigger, scarier dudes rushing you when you're in college.
Yeah.
You're still there to do one job, and you know what you're doing.
You're smoking 50-yarders like they aren't even in style.
Makes me excited.
And if you listen to any good kicker talk about, like, especially the NFL guys, when they're out there to do their job, they're the only guy in the entire building.
Yeah.
They're doing their job, and the reason they're good at it is because they can put everything else.
That's why they look so fucking annoyed when the laces are on the wrong side.
Yeah, so it doesn't.
They're confused because the video game didn't match up to what they were doing in real life.
Yeah.
It
doesn't matter who's running at them. None of that stuff.
It's one of the reasons why it was a handful of shows ago that we did, and I asked the question, what is the incoming freshman recruit that is like the dude that you are looking at, the most important guy? And
you said Tristan Alvano.
I started off Tristan Alvano, mainly because he puts up points. I understand Cam Lanhart or Prince Will, your mom's yelling, all those other
Your
things.
mom's yelling.
I don't care.
The street lights on.
I don't care who else you are. I understand that you're going to make plays. Tristan Alvano is going to put up points.
And Bleak Road was good last year.
He's great.
He was good. He's a transfer in. Wasn't he a transfer in from Wyoming or something like that? Or was Bushini from Wyoming?
Bushimi was on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, he's a good kicker. He's way better than what we had before. But
Bleak Road was like a Fordham type, or it's not
there's
Fordham,
a good chance he loses his job this year.
Oh no, Tristan Alvano is the guy.
I like it. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with having a decent backup kicker too.
I'd really love a 4-year kicker.
I'd love to not feel like shit watching the field goal team come out.
Bleak Road will be the punter, or no, Bushimi will be the punter.
He better be. He's on the what award is
he's
the punters
watch
get?
list. He's on
the watch list.
Yeah. All 133 punters should be on the watch list.
Just call it the punter award.
He's a good punter.
You don't need to actually name
the Ray
it.
Guy Award. We know what it is.
You know what it is.
I love that.
You just told me, and I'm not going to know 5 minutes from now. Stop it.
I already forgot. The collective
Ray Guy.
The collective we know what it is.
That guy.
Ray-Bans, guys who wear Ray-Bans.
Do you not know who Ray Guy is?
No, I don't.
Jesus.
Apparently he had a good foot.
Ray-Ban guys pump balls.
You're such a child. You're such a child.
You wear Ray-Bans? Oh, you're a punter, huh?
Let's do a whole show on
BJ, do you know who Ray Guy is?
I just said I didn't even remember who Ray Guy was.
You're both children.
Do you want to enlighten us? Or
No, I'm just going to leave it.
That's how unimportant he is, Jed.
No, whatever. Anyway. Yeah. He's on the Ray Guy watch.
Stop saying it.
I don't like the
Ray
watch.
Guy. I'm never going to forget it now.
The thing is, you're just going to say the Guy Award.
Yeah, the Guy Award.
You're not even going to say Ray.
The punter guy.
I'm going to say Ray Allen. It's the Ray Allen Award.
Yeah, for me, it's it's going to be the Ray-Ban Award.
You know he hits it. He hits it from deep. It's the Ray Allen Award.
I'm just saying, he's cool. Watch list. But that doesn't mean anything. Everybody should be on the watch list at the beginning of the year.
So here's my question when it comes to the punting side of things.
To the Ray Guy Award?
And I'll actually back this up to kickoffs too. What schematically do you expect to see different than what we have been looking at, the terribleness of covering kicks and punts over the last 5+ years?
Well, I think you completely changed the question when you said punts and returning and kicking, because
I didn't say returning.
You took it way away from
punt
Ray
coverage
Guy.
And kickoff coverage schemes. What are we looking at seeing changed?
I mean, honestly, kickoff coverage has not been that terrible. Kickoff coverage in the conference was number 5. Kickoff coverage in the country was 37th in the country.
Wow.
So,
just last year.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it was really bad.
I mean, it was 11th and 111th. So, yeah.
It's pretty fucking bad.
Slightly different.
So, like I was saying, are we expecting any schematic changes? I mean, you can only change your kickoffs. And
Yeah.
I think we're seeing a
stat.
lot more do your job right this year is what it is.
I think
on the punt side of things is really what I'm most worried about, I think.
I hope we're not punting that much.
I think, as you know, as we all know, I think the biggest question is about our punt return game, because that's what we do every show. We talk about...
No. We're not getting to our punt returns yet.
I wasn't trying...
back the bus up, bro. I will get there.
No,
back the bus up.
What I was trying to say... What I was trying to say is... Our special teams might have been bad for many years.
Might have been.
Yes. But it wasn't as bad as our punt returns were.
That's part of special teams.
I
we'll
know.
Get there.
Can we have negative odds for a minute there?
We're not seeing anything change schematically. You haven't heard of anything coming out from Foley?
Is there going to be something dramatically changed? I certainly fucking hope so. Because as good or decent as we might have been, it could always get better.
I also hope
But we will we will only know as the games go on.
When it comes to guys playing special teams, I'd heard early on, back in spring, I think, that Rule has kind of an old school Patriots reference, Bill Belichick outlook on using people specifically in special teams. And also using some of your starters and things like that in special teams.
You mean like using the trained polar bear, Rob Gronkowski, for a tackler on special teams?
Yeah, things like that.
Something like that.
But what I'm what I'm getting at is the prior staff, they never wanted to use anybody that could possibly be touching the field at any other time on, as a gunner or anything like that on special teams. Are we going to see any of that from Rule, or do you know?
All I can say is it sounds like there are a lot of athletes that want to get on the field.
Yeah.
Specifically new guys, freshmen, whatever, whether it's transfers or freshmen. And it feels like the way that Rule was talking a couple of days ago on his press conference, those guys understand that the best way to make sure that they get on the field is through special teams. This is the whole training camp. We always used to call it fall camp, but now it's called training camp. It is being run by an NFL camp. And it truly feels like all of these guys understand in the NFL system, the best way to get on the field is through special teams.
Yeah.
And
it's definitely the easiest way. I mean,
yes.
There's guys that build their whole NFL career.
You want to get out there and sacrifice yourself? Get out there in special teams.
Look at Slater for, again, the Patriots.
Boom, boom,
God
boom.
damn it.
Slater's been a Pro Bowl, special teams Pro Bowler, I think it's 11 times.
Yeah.
He's had a 12 or 13-year career.
I mean, you typically
he's only ever played special teams.
You typically want your special teams career to translate into something more significant, but the special teams is where you can get it done.
Oh, but that is
you can go lay your
thing.
fucking body on the line for a play and change the game.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal. I think something interesting that I guess I'm just more than anything I'm interested in seeing what it's going to look like compared to what we saw before, because it seemed like before you didn't want anybody to get hurt, so you put the worst guys you possibly could on the field for special teams.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of why we suck so bad at it.
Well,
it's one of the 1,000 reasons, yeah.
Everybody was always scared of what was going to happen.
Now we get to your punt returns, the return game in general.
All right, you forgot the name. What's the name of the award?
The Ray-Ban Award.
The Ray-Ban Award.
The Ray-Ban.
No.
Man.
Stop it. Don't disrespect Ray Guy like that.
Ray Guy.
Ray Guy, punt guy. Who's this guy?
Ray
that
Guy.
guy? The punt guy?
Ray Guy is a punter.
Green jacket, purple
He's
jacket.
the greatest punter of all time.
I don't know about this.
You know what? I'll believe you, and I don't need to know any more about him. It's fine.
Oh my God!
Hey, we're on to returns. You wanted to talk how bad our punt return game has been.
Well, we all know how bad our punt return game was.
It's been the biggest bugaboo in my betting on the odds that you set every fucking week.
It's been easy for the rest of us.
Yeah, to bet against me.
One of the season preview bets that we had last year was 10-plus yard punt returns. And I initially put it at 3.5. And on our season preview last year, you and BJ, you and Josh were like, 3.5, fuck off, over. And you guys, and we ended up pushing.
Was it 3.5 total yards?
3.5 punt returns of 10-plus yards.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And I put this at. I moved it up to like 10.5.
What the fuck? Are you serious? Wowza. For those who don't know, we've got a special guest in studio with us tonight. As we're recording this, and they might have hit a little bit hard, and were, instead of listening, snoozing just a smidge. So you might have heard a couple snores there in the background.
So there's a shot to that.
Nailed it.
Cheers.
Yeah, no shit.
Cheers.
Oh, man.
God damn.
So back to our favorite topic, Jed. We were talking return game. We were talking specifically about how bad I am at picking whether or not we're going to have anything.
Yeah, you're right.
But you were going on about how last year you set the over-under for punt returns over 10-plus yards at 3.5.
Yes.
And me and Josh were like, oh, fuck, way over.
So initially I was like, oh, should
Didn't it end at like 1?
So, well, I initially, when you guys were like, oh my God, over, I initially threw it at like 10-ish. And then I settled at either 7.5 or 8.5. I don't remember specifically.
I feel like it was 2 on the year.
It ended up being 2.
Yeah.
So
regardless, it was fucking terrible.
So
it was the one giant return, if I'm remembering correctly.
The block punt.
Yep.
Versus
Is that
Indiana.
one?
Yep.
We had one at like 13 yards.
So realistically, we actually led the conference in return yards per punt. We led the conference.
Because we had one.
But we also only had 5 returns. So it was just...
Is this the Big Ten sucks show?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my question about that. Is that going to change this year?
I don't know.
Do you know anything about rules history at Baylor or at Temple as far as special teams punt returns?
All I can really say is,
PBR
according
is
to
thick.
Matt Rule and according to Ed Foley, they do not like to do fair catches. So whatever that means,
takes your opportunity away.
I mean, it at least takes the opportunity of returns away, or at least puts them on the table. I guess I should say, doesn't take them away. We will find out.
Who do you expect to be back there catching those?
Everybody would love to say Billy Kemp because
I would love to say Billy Kemp. I think Billy Kemp's going to be the star of the offense this year.
So I will tell you this.
Here's my question, though, when it comes to a punt returner or kick returner. Aren't they supposed to be fast as fuck? And Billy Kemp is not on the list of the fastest guys playing
shifty.
catching balls.
Bingo, Matt. It's not just about being fast. I mean, Billy Kemp literally said this in his post-game or post-practice press conference the other day, where he was asked
5 times fast.
He was asked,
Nope.
"Are you going to be out there during punt returns?" And he said, "If they ask me to, I will be." And then somebody asked him about the details of being a punt returner. He was talking about squaring your shoulders, watching the kick, all
You got
those
to
other
plant
things.
that foot and make a move.
Yeah. But you also have to have people block for you. It's not just about the returner.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing for us last year, too, schematically.
Exactly. You could have the best fucking returner of all time back there.
So, you know what the worst
If
part
they
about
have 10 players ready to tackle him, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
You know what the worst part about us not having any blocking and not having any real scheme to try and get any returns last year, we also never went after the punters.
No.
You got to do one or the other.
Other than that one blocked punt against Indiana.
Yeah, but that was like a situational
almost felt like an
thing.
accident.
Yeah.
But it was also a situational thing, and that was like
Was
the
that
most
like an
frustrating
onside
thing.
kick in the third quarter situational thing?
Up 11?
Can't we get through a special team show without
No.
bringing that?
We
fucking
can't
thing
get
up?
through an episode
Absolutely
without
not.
talking about Cocaine Bear. I don't.
Oh my god! Our new nickname for Scott Frost, Cocaine Bear.
So the big thing is Nebraska under Scott Frost had 13 punt returns of 10-plus yards.
In 5 years.
In 5 years. 13.
That's higher than I would have expected, honestly. Just looking at BJ's projections.
So we had 11 going into last year. We had 2 last year. Billy Kemp by himself in the last 5 years has 12 of his 50 or 64 returns of 10-plus yards in 5 years. He has 64 total returns of 367 yards.
Just damn near 20%.
So he has 12 in his last 5 years by himself. Nebraska has 13 as an entire team in the last 5 years.
Was he back there catching every single punt?
He had a big sophomore season where he had like 23 returns,
Where they probably had decent blockers.
and it dropped after that. Last year
He probably wasn't catching as many.
he wasn't
I would
catching
guess.
as many. He was also injured most of last year at Virginia, so it was kind of give or take one way or the other.
Sure.
He had a big sophomore year as far as punt return guy.
I would like to know what the rest of the guys look like. Yes, the returner is the
Wasn't
important part.
Xavier Betts supposed to be in the return game originally when
Yes.
he came in?
He might still be.
I think this year Tommy Hill will be a big factor in the punt return game.
Sure.
But again, the guys catching the ball, they're important. I want to know about the 10 guys who are blocking for them.
I agree. I completely
And I want to
agree.
know about how they're actually going about
It's
it.
more about the philosophy of how the blocking is going to go. It's cool. We can talk about whether it's Billy Kemp, whether it's Tommy Hill, whether it's Xavier Betts, or whether it's any of the track stars that we have as a incoming freshman, whether it's any of the West Side kids, Jaden Doss, or the Texas kids,
Give me a couple
Bryce
of those
Turner,
sub 440 guys.
all those things. You can be fast, but you have to at least move somebody.
You know
You
what?
also have to be able to hit a hole.
I don't care about any of that. Special teams, more than anything
Yes.
else in football,
I agree.
is about the general.
Yep.
And
It's
if,
about
if,
all 11. It's
it-
not about the one guy.
if your general coached you right,
Yep.
you're going to lay down your fucking body to get the play done.
And we have a real special teams coordinator with Ed Foley, so we will see.
Who's been doing special teams for a long
He has
ass
been.
time.
But we will
A
see.
long ass time.
I cannot sit here right now, as much as you guys want me to, and I want to. I cannot commit to anything right now with special teams until I see it. I just don't know.
So this week, I've been hearing about in fall camp starting up or in week 1, I've been hearing about, he's making all the coaches and all the kids can't leave campus. They're all staying in the dorms.
Yep.
Can't leave campus. That includes coaches. I can imagine, old man Ed, he's probably struggling sleeping on those twin-sized beds in the dorm right now.
I know I did.
But he's doing it. He's putting up with it. Something that I heard today, they're doing basically 2 practices. So all the coaches are essentially running 2 practices.
For these first 2 weeks, they can do whatever the fuck they want
And
to,
so
basically.
my question about that is, and it's kind of a split, young versus old, things like that. My question is the special teams in both practices, are they double dipping on that? Are all those kids double dipping on that are going to be in both?
It sounds like people that want to get on the field is all in on special teams. That's the way it sounds.
And I'm going to guess if you want to be on the field, you're at both practices.
Yeah.
Well,
Again,
I don't hate it.
Again, it sounds so much like an NFL training camp.
2 years ago, we weren't even practicing special teams, so I'm happy to hear that we're doing stuff.
5 years ago, we weren't even practicing. So
I'm just saying, this training camp that they're having right now sounds so much like an NFL training camp where, excuse me, whoa,
Jesus.
I was not expecting that. I apologize.
If this was a Jaeger show,
Yeah. It sounds so much like...
So unladylike.
I know that everybody wants to crush Matt Rule for his time at the Carolina Panthers in the NFL.
Not everyone. Don't care.
I agree with you. But it sounds so much like an NFL training camp right now at Nebraska.
Well, the other thing he did...
And I'm not saying that in a bad way.
I'm okay with it.
It sounds like that, but at the same time, the other thing that he took from the whole splitting up the team...
Yes.
He got that from Osborne.
Yes.
That's not an NFL thing. That's an old school Nebraska thing.
I'd also like to know how every successful team over the last 10 years has done it, because I bet it's similar.
Well, my assumption is the big boys are doing it like the NFL teams. Because those kids are going right into the NFL, able to produce
Exactly.
as NFL
That's what
kids.
I mean.
They're used to
this
that
isn't a
workload.
new concept that we're dealing with. It's
No. It's an old concept that...
It might be new to Nebraska.
In the 90s, Nebraska was setting the standard for doing things like this. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten away from that. And there's probably a lot of that stuff that's still hung around. That it's kind of like fashion trends. Everything's cyclical. It all comes back around, the good stuff.
Not even back around. You're just looking at what the good teams are doing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care where they got it from.
Well, and the other thing, not to, you can hit that button whenever I say this.
Which one?
You'll know the button. But
he's about to reference Bill.
Yeah. We've talked about this. One of the reasons why Matt Rule is at Nebraska is because of Bill Belichick. Trev Alberts.
And he got to go through a whole week of training camp with Bill last preseason.
Trev Alberts and Carter talked to Bill Belichick, and and Bill Belichick told him, "Stop it." That's not what Bill
Belichick said, "Stop it."
I mean, he did say, "Stop it. Don't look at his Carolina resume." No. Bill Belichick told them, do not judge Matt Rule on his Carolina Panther experience.
Because Bill sees more than a couple of years.
Also, if you're going to talk about somebody that runs special teams the right way.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Just so we can tie this into
Just being a head coach. Yeah. The point is, Matt Rule knows what the fuck he's running.
Yeah.
And I know that we have tied a handful of these shows in where I know I'm not the sunshine and rainbows and stroking everybody off type of person. But if Matt Rule bent over, I would do whatever the fuck he wanted to me.
Wow. That's Jed's hot take. Fuck.
I don't know what else to give, but that.
Hey, Matt Rule stopped for a penny on the street, and Jed was like,
we all know.
So Jed's in jail tonight, and I'll tell you what. Jesus Christ, Jed.
I'm all about it. I'm bought in. I don't know what
I don't
else
need
to
to
say.
ask Jed for a hot take or a bold prediction. No. Matt, do you have any?
Of what?
For the special team specifically?
Yeah.
I think Billy Kemp goes over 100 yards.
I don't think it will be Billy Kemp.
I think Billy Kemp goes over 100 yards on the year for special team returns.
Just punting and kickoff total?
Punting and kickoff total.
Okay.
Because he's going to be back there for both.
I don't think he's going to be the guy, but...
I sure hope he's the guy.
For some reason... That's his bold prediction.
Actually, for some reason, I got a good feeling about that dude. And he gives me Julian Edelman in 2018 vibes. And he seems like the guy for me, where he's going to be on the field to make things happen. I don't care if
he makes a circus catch like Jules did in the Super Bowl to come back over the Falcons from 28-3.
You get Julian Edelman made that team that year because he's ready to put his body on the line for whatever he had to. And Kemp gives me the same kind of vibe. He makes me feel like he wants to be out there so that he can win the fucking game regardless of what happens. That's my bold prediction.
Kemp makes me feel all nice and cozy inside.
Me too.
But
he kind of reminds me of a Samori Toure.
I think he's going to be more about the offensive side than the special team side.
And I might agree with you, but
just because we have so many guys.
He's not about himself.
That's my point. That's ultimately my point.
Freshmen.
He is
seven
not
freshman scholarship wide receivers.
He's here
That's
for the win.
ultimately my point.
He's here for the win. I don't.
Yes.
He doesn't care how he gets it done. I don't care how he gets it done.
Yep.
We agree in that sense.
Matt's turned this into a Billy Kemp boner show.
It doesn't mean that I don't think that Billy Kemp will never be back there. He will be. I just think that the bulk of the situations will
he
not
can be back there if you know what I'm talking about.
Christ. So anyway, my bold prediction.
BJ, by the way, BJ, by the way, that's your brother. So
yeah, my bold prediction is
I just don't think that BJ or Billy Kemp will be back there enough to whatever.
No, say it again. Say it again.
Go ahead. Just keep talking. I'm done. Just say what you want.
My bold prediction. Hey, this will be real bold, outlandish, hot take. Here we go. You ready for this? We go over 5.5 returns of 10 plus this year.
5.5 total.
5.5 total for the season.
Billy Kemp's back there.
Okay, I will take the under. You want to do a shot bet on that?
Shot bet.
I'll take
Shot
the
bet.
over.
Did we have any other special teams?
Jed, you and I will take that bet, and we'll bet with his shot
You
extra.
literally just said the over. I'm taking the under. So
Yeah, and he doesn't matter, so we'll take the extra.
Did we have any other special teams bets last year?
not really.
No?
No.
Just the over under on the returns?
I mean, I guess the only other one would be: do you think Tristan Alvano will be the dude?
Well, I don't think that's really a bet, but
I
yes,
know Matt and I
think he
were
will.
talking about Tristan. You
I
did
think
not
it'd be
chime in
awesome.
on that. That's why I'm asking.
I think it'd be awesome to do. Let's do this over under. How many field goals made 50 plus yards on the season?
Oh, 50 plus.
50 plus yarders.
What is your number?
2.5.
I would probably have to set it like 2.5, 3.5, somewhere in there.
I'd say 2.5.
2.5.
You know what? To be safe, actually, I'd say 1.5.
Well, then
Okay.
I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
I'd say 2.5.
I was going to say, if you said
Made.
2.5, I would take the under.
50 plus
Made.
made.
I bet the attempted is 5. So 2.5 is my.
I think he's going to miss that many?
Oh, if the attempted is 5, I'm taking the. Well, I would take the made as the over.
You think the attempt is going to be 5? Let's go ahead and set it 2.5.
As made?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's go over.
I like it. I like it. Wait, if you've got the tool, use them.
If it's going to be 2.5, if it's going to be 2.5, I will take the over.
If we kick 3, I'm taking 2.5 over.
Yeah.
The way
I see him making those.
Exactly.
They don't put him out on the field if he's not going to make them.
Exactly.
And that kid is fucking solid.
Yes.
I don't know what to say about him.
Money.
Hey, let's
the dude
let's
knows what
think
he's
about
doing.
this. He went over that mark in the state championship
Yes.
game last year.
Yes.
That's why I said I'll take the over.
Because he had the opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has that opportunity under Matt Rule, who's like, come on, give me the fucking ball and punch it through.
No.
But if he decides to kick that many 50-yard plus, I think we make that many.
Well, see, I think analytically, and Matt Rule is a nerd. He likes the analytics on things. Analytically, the closer you get to the goal, the better opportunity you have of getting in the end zone.
Story of my life.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. Matt, you knew where I was
I think if we're the team that scores the most points is gonna usually gonna win
that's
the ball
not
game.
where we were going, but okay.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's a little different.
Oh my god, we need to wrap this up. Hey, everybody that's actually still listening, if you are, for fuck's sake, this has been terrible. Please go out. Find us on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. Make sure you like us and follow us on whatever you watch on. Check out our YouTube channel. Next week, we do fire off actual video. This will be less of a shit show, I promise. Come back.
And this may be the most unbelievable night in Cornhusker football history.